Hi guys, get ready to feel the tension build, because today, we're diving into thrillers that grip you from the first scene and refuse to let go. In this countdown, we're spotlighting the top 14 best thriller movies streaming this July 2025 on Netflix, AMC+, and Max. These aren't just your typical suspense stories, they're bold, unsettling, and full of twists that will keep you guessing until the very end. Number 14. Armand. Armand, directed by Halfdan Ullman-Tundell, is a cerebral and quietly unnerving psychological thriller that fuses social tension with surreal undertones and sharp character dynamics. The film centers on Elizabeth, a former actress and single mother who is urgently called to her young son's school after an undisclosed incident involving another child. What begins as a formal meeting between adults soon spirals into a layered power struggle, where language becomes weaponized and reality is slowly destabilized by doubt, suggestion, and mounting paranoia. Renate Reinsve leads the film with a captivating, emotionally coiled performance that holds the screen with quiet fury and fragility. Her portrayal of Elizabeth is tense and unpredictable, grounded yet on the verge of unraveling. For fans of minimalist psychological thrillers that lean into ambiguity and emotional complexity, Armand is a hypnotic, unsettling experience, one that lingers like a question you can't quite answer. Number 13. The Night Shifter. The Night Shifter, directed by Denison Ramalho, is a bleak and atmospheric horror thriller that blends supernatural dread with gritty domestic drama. The film follows Stenio, a weary morgue attendant working the night shift in a violent and decaying city. But Stenio has a secret: he can hear the dead speak. At first, this ability seems like a morbid curiosity, a burden he quietly carries. But when he uses the secrets of the dead to meddle in his personal life, the consequences turn disturbingly real, plunging him into a waking nightmare. Daniel de Oliveira gives a grounded and empathetic performance as Stenio, capturing the slow erosion of a man who's lost control of the living and the dead. His portrayal balances fatigue, guilt, and fear, making the descent into horror feel intimately personal. Visually dark and thematically somber, The Night Shifter isn't built around conventional scares. Instead, it leans on slow-burning tension, moral ambiguity, and the quiet horror of regret. Number 12. The Motive. The Motive, directed by Manuel Martín Cuenca, is a coldly clever psychological thriller that explores the dark side of artistic ambition through quiet tension and biting irony. The film centers on Álvaro, a failed writer desperate to create a great novel but lacking imagination. When his more successful wife leaves him, Álvaro moves into a new apartment and becomes fixated on using his neighbors' lives as material for fiction. But as he begins to interfere, subtly at first, then more directly, a slow-burning moral collapse unfolds, blurring the line between observer and manipulator. Javier Gutierrez leads with a restrained and quietly unsettling performance, capturing Álvaro's internal desperation with eerie calm. His portrayal balances pitiful awkwardness with cold calculation, making the character's descent into ethical ambiguity all the more disturbing. Fans of intellectually driven cinema will find it quietly disturbing, and a chilling reminder of what can happen when storytelling turns into control. Number 11. The Harvest. The Harvest, directed by John McNaughton, is a slow-burning and deeply unsettling thriller that blends domestic drama with psychological horror. The film centers on Marianne, a lonely teenager who befriends a sickly boy named Andy, confined to his home under the strict care of his parents. As she spends more time with him, Marianne begins to suspect something isn't right, especially with Andy's mother, whose behavior becomes increasingly erratic and threatening. What begins as an innocent friendship slowly unravels into something far more sinister. Samantha Morton delivers a chilling performance as the overbearing mother, balancing maternal concern with an unnerving sense of dominance and instability. Michael Shannon adds quiet intensity as the conflicted father, while newcomer Natasha Callis brings warmth and resolve to the role of Marianne. The cast's restrained performances help maintain a constant tension beneath the surface. For viewers who appreciate psychological thrillers that favor mood over mayhem, The Harvest offers a quietly harrowing experience that grows darker the longer it lingers. Number 10. Hunger. Hunger, directed by Siddhasiri Monkolsiri, is a stylish and intense Thai psychological thriller that delves into ambition, power, and the dark side of culinary perfection. The film centers on Aoi, a young street food cook who's invited to join Hunger, an elite fine dining team led by the enigmatic and demanding chef Paul. As Aoi climbs deeper into this high-stakes world, she finds herself torn between artistic ambition and moral compromise, facing brutal mentorship, cutthroat competition, and the haunting question of how far she's willing to go to succeed. Chutiman Charansuking anchors the film with a fierce and layered performance, portraying Aoi's transformation with grit and vulnerability. Opposite her, Nopachai Chayanam is captivating as Chef Paul, both magnetic and terrifying, a figure whose intensity dominates every scene. Their dynamic becomes the core of the film's escalating psychological tension. It's a slow-burning, emotionally charged thriller that builds its momentum through character conflict and social commentary, rather than traditional suspense. Number 9. The Next Skin. The Next Skin, directed by Isaki Lacuesta and Isa Campo, is a haunting and quietly gripping mystery drama that explores identity, trauma, and the fragile nature of truth. The story centers on Leo, a teenager who reappears after being missing for years, presumed dead. His sudden return to a small mountain village is met with joy by his mother, but not everyone is convinced he is who he claims to be. As the community tries to reconnect, unease grows, and the question of Leo's true identity begins to unravel the emotional lives of those around him. Alex Monner delivers a subtle and deeply introspective performance as Leo, capturing the character's mix of vulnerability, defiance, and ambiguity. Emma Suarez is equally powerful as the grieving mother desperate to believe in her son's return. Minimalist in style but rich in atmosphere, The Next Skin avoids sensationalism and instead leans into slow-burning tension. The high-altitude landscapes mirror the film's emotional isolation, while the script leaves just enough unanswered to keep the viewer questioning what's real. Number 8. The Lost Daughter. The Lost Daughter, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal in her striking feature debut, is a cerebral and emotionally charged psychological drama that explores motherhood, memory, and the uneasy truths women often carry in silence. The film follows Leda, a middle-aged professor vacationing alone on a sunny Greek island. Her quiet retreat is disrupted when she becomes fixated on a young mother and daughter staying nearby, triggering memories of her own complicated past. As tension simmers beneath the surface, Leda's inner turmoil begins to manifest, leading to unexpected choices and buried emotions resurfacing. Olivia Colman delivers a masterclass in restrained performance, embodying Leda with a mix of vulnerability, intelligence, and simmering resentment. Jessie Buckley, playing the younger version of Leda in flashbacks, complements her with equal emotional depth. For viewers drawn to introspective, character-focused thrillers, The Lost Daughter is both haunting and thought-provoking, a film that whispers its darkest truths rather than shouting them. Number 7. Haunter. Haunter, directed by Vincenzo Natali, is a moody and cerebral supernatural thriller that flips the traditional haunted house story on its head. The film centers on Lisa, a teenage girl stuck in an endlessly repeating day in her family's suburban home. At first, she's the only one aware of the loop, but as strange occurrences escalate, Lisa begins to uncover disturbing truths about her reality and the sinister force behind it. What follows is a layered mystery where the boundaries between past and present, living and dead, slowly dissolve. Abigail Breslin leads with a compelling performance, grounding the film with quiet strength and vulnerability. Her portrayal of a teenager forced to confront a chilling mystery beyond her control adds emotional weight to the story. Visually restrained but atmospherically rich, Haunter builds its suspense through mood and psychological tension rather than typical horror shocks. It's a thoughtful, slow-burning thriller that asks viewers to pay attention and rewards them with clever turns and emotional resonance. Number 6. Believer. Believer, directed by Lee Hae-young, is a slick and hard-hitting South Korean crime thriller that reimagines the undercover cop narrative with stylish intensity and shifting allegiances. The film centers on Detective Won-ho, a relentless narcotics officer determined to bring down a mysterious and powerful drug cartel led by the elusive figure known only as Mr. Lee. When a low-level member of the organization offers to help expose the kingpin, a dangerous game of infiltration begins, one where truth is murky and everyone has something to hide. Cho Jin-woong delivers a gritty and layered performance as the obsessive detective, while Ryu Jin-yeol impresses as the quiet, calculating informant. Their chemistry adds tension and complexity to an already unpredictable narrative. Stylishly shot and tightly paced, Believer thrives on its shifting dynamics, moral ambiguity, and bursts of brutal violence. It's a slow burn that gradually ramps up into an explosive finale, full of twists that keep the viewer guessing until the very end. Number 5. Annabelle Creation. Annabelle Creation, directed by David F. Sandberg, is a chilling and atmospheric horror prequel that breathes new life into the Conjuring universe's infamous doll. The film centers on a grieving dollmaker and his wife, who open their isolated farmhouse to a group of orphaned girls and their caretaker. But as the girls settle in, one of them discovers a seemingly innocent doll locked away in a forbidden room, unleashing a terrifying presence tied to a dark past. What begins as curiosity quickly turns into a haunting descent into fear. Talitha Bateman leads the cast with a striking performance, capturing the vulnerability and courage of a child confronting pure evil. Lulu Wilson also shines, bringing emotional weight and resilience to the unfolding horror. Visually rich and expertly paced, Annabelle Creation relies on shadowy atmosphere, restrained scares, and a creeping sense of doom rather than cheap tricks. Sandberg's direction turns the quiet farmhouse into a labyrinth of tension, where every creak and flicker carries menace. Number 4. Caddo Lake. Caddo Lake, directed by Celine Held and Logan George, is a meditative and unsettling psychological thriller that blends quiet emotional drama with creeping supernatural mystery. The film centers on a grieving mother whose daughter vanishes without a trace near the eerie, fog-covered waters of Caddo Lake. As the investigation unfolds, a disturbing pattern emerges. Other children have gone missing in the same area over the years. The deeper she searches for answers, the more time seems to bend, and a haunting connection to the past begins to take shape. Eliza Scanlon leads the film with a subdued, emotionally raw performance that anchors the story's eerie tone. She captures the fragility and obsession of a mother unraveling, while Dylan O'Brien provides a grounded and quietly complex counterbalance. It's a quiet thriller that lingers in the subconscious, raising more questions than it answers and leaving behind an echo of unease. Number 3. The Last House on the Left. The Last House on the Left, directed by Dennis Iliadis, is a grim and emotionally charged revenge thriller that reimagines Wes Craven's notorious 1972 film with sharper visuals and deeper psychological tension. The film centers on Mari, a teenager who's attacked while on a weekend trip to her family's remote lakeside home. After a horrific encounter, fate twists cruelly as her assailants unknowingly seek refuge in her parents' house. What follows is a tense and quietly escalating confrontation as Mari's parents uncover the truth and are forced to decide how far they'll go for justice. Sarah Paxton brings vulnerability and quiet strength to the role of Mari, while Monica Potter and Tony Goldwyn deliver emotionally raw performances as her devastated yet determined parents. Their transformation, from broken to vengeful, is handled with surprising nuance, adding weight and complexity to the film's most intense moments. For viewers who can handle its intensity, The Last House on the Left is a powerful and deeply unsettling thriller. A sobering look at violence, grief, and the extreme lengths people will go to protect the ones they love. Number 2. Villains, directed by Dan Burke and Robert Olson, is a sly and twisted crime thriller laced with dark comedy, where amateur heists meet full-blown psychopathy. The story centers on Mickey and Jules, a bumbling young crime duo played by Bill Skarsgård and Maika Monroe. Low on gas and luck after a half-baked robbery, they break into what seems like an abandoned home in hopes of a quick escape, only to discover a young girl shackled in the basement. Their misguided rescue attempt leads to chilling confrontations with George and Gloria, Jeffrey Donovan and Kyra Sedgwick, a disturbingly polite couple with dark secrets lurking beneath their genteel veneer. Skarsgård and Monroe anchor the film with disarming chemistry. Their interplay is equal parts charming and chaotic, pulling you into their reckless world. Opposite them, Donovan and Sedgwick steal every scene. Sedgwick's unforgettable blend of sweetness and psychotic edge is truly skin-crawling, draws you in with its retro, almost too perfect suburban setting, like a dollhouse hiding something sinister. The whole movie unfolds in one claustrophobic space, where the power keeps shifting between hunter and hunted. Number 1. The Moritanian. The Moritanian, directed by Kevin MacDonald, is a gripping legal thriller that fuses political drama with a sobering portrait of injustice, resilience, and the human cost of post-9/11 paranoia. The film centers on Mohamedou Ould Slahi, a Mauritanian man who is captured and held without charge in Guantanamo Bay for over a decade. As he faces indefinite detention, a defense attorney and her associate take on his case, slowly unraveling a web of secrecy, torture, and state-sanctioned fear that stretches far beyond the courtroom. Taha Rahim delivers a phenomenal performance as Slahi, balancing quiet dignity with raw vulnerability. His portrayal is both heartbreaking and deeply human, anchoring the film's emotional weight. Jodie Foster brings sharp intelligence and moral clarity to her role as attorney Nancy Hollander, while Benedict Cumberbatch adds gravitas as the conflicted military prosecutor. The Mauritanian doesn't need flashy drama to make an impact. Instead, it grabs you with its powerful characters, gripping testimonies, and the chilling reality of what happens when those in power go unchecked. It's a slow-burning, emotional thriller that makes you think hard about truth, responsibility, and what justice actually means.